Welcome to the Care for Customers video on workforce management planning. If you work in a contact center with 5, 16, or 700 agents, you know that workforce management is a very important part of your operation and a somewhat difficult area to get right. If your workforce is not well scheduled, it can have a dramatic impact on customer experience and your staff's absenteeism and turnover. It can be very expensive for your company if you get workforce wrong. If you have too many people, that means higher staffing costs. If you have too few people, your customers get dismal service, and that impacts customer satisfaction, sales, and company revenue. So to help you improve your workforce management planning process, I've created this map and checklist document to help you remember the 50 plus items that should be considered in your plans. In my 20 years of experience, I've found that workforce management planning consists of 5 major areas. 1, contact center staffing, the people. 2, contact volume, the actual calls, emails, chats, messages that the staff handles. 3, average handle time. 4, facilities and technology. And 5, intraday management. I will go through each section and talk about what's in each box. I won't go into excruciating detail and bore you to death, as I'm hoping you'll get the point based on the box description. Again, I'm highlighting many things that I have missed in my past planning efforts to ensure that you and your team don't repeat the same mistakes. And note, it's up to you to consider whether or not any of these items apply to your workforce management plans. So let's start with contact center staffing. Obviously, a critical, important area. It's a bad assumption if you expect an agent will work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and at the end of the week, you'll get 45 hours of work from them. In reality, the number is always lower, and here's why that is the case. If we take a look at agent working times, productive time is when they are actually signed into the queue working, answering phone calls, responding to emails, messaging customers, and the like. This will be the biggest part of their hours in a work week. But remember, your agents will have to attend team meetings, and they probably have one-to-one meetings with their manager. They may also require time off the phone to attend quality reviews and company or product training. You will also lose hours to internal meetings and company holidays. You also may experience system issues, and that will stop the team from working altogether. Agents will also have unscheduled time away from the queue throughout the day, and they will typically need some personal time for bathroom breaks and things like that. So remember, all of this time needs to be scheduled and planned for. This next section is shrinkage. These are the things that will chew away at the remaining hours that you expect your agents will work in a week. First off is lunch and breaks. This time is usually mandated by law, so no getting around that, not that you want to. You can also expect agents will be late starting their shift and that some will have to leave early. Expect them to be absent due to illness or other personal reasons from time to time. Some staff may be granted protective leave or leave of absence or short-term disability. If you are in the United States, FMLA is a protective leave, so you need to plan for it. And of course, you're going to have to offer vacation time to those agents who have earned the benefit. This works out to approximately 2% annually, but that often doubles in key summer vacation periods. Keep track of all of these events and the amount of time it impacts your staffing and schedule so you know what to plan for in the future. The time amounts in each area will not always stay the same, so track the data on a weekly basis to form a trend line for planning purposes. Management coverage means that you have to schedule the same ratio of team managers or supervisors to agents that you do on a Monday morning in the same way that you should do on a Saturday night. Also, remember that you may have to schedule a quality team to support your agents throughout the hours of operation. You will need to plan for some level of attrition in your center. It's a good practice to track this data very closely. You want to ensure that your recruiting team is ready to replace the staff that is leaving the company. With 60 to 100% attrition in many contact centers, you have to keep on top of attrition planning. And related to attrition, you're going to have new training classes that may require some of your management team who normally supports the floor to be in the new hire training classes. So you'll need to plan and schedule for that. If you have agents that work more than one queue, such as a bilingual English or Spanish agent, you will want to consider scheduling their time correctly across multiple queues. Now let's move over to contact volume. Working from left to right, you need to forecast each day of the week's contact volume. It's very likely that your center has different volumes for each day of the week, and that will drive different staffing each day. In some industries, such as banking, they have very different volume at the beginning and end of each month. Your company may have unique call arrival patterns as well. Consider if similar factors impact your planning needs. Keep track of the time your volume arrives. You may have a situation where you have heavy volumes in the early morning, then a lull in the afternoon, and then higher volumes again in the early evening. Knowing these patterns will allow you to schedule your staff more effectively. You can't always predict if your company is going to have a product or service issue. If it does, it will potentially impact your volume, so be aware of that. Ask your product or marketing people if they know of anything that might come up in the near future. Be aware of any publicity your company may be impacted by. This could drive unexpected volume. Keep an eye on the weather forecast. Bad weather may impact your agent's abilities to get to work or your customers' needs for your products or services. Think hurricanes, heavy rainstorms, major snowfalls. Your friends in marketing and sales may impact your planning as well. If there is a major sales event or marketing campaign, that will drive unexpected volume into your center. And finally, think about weekends. Do you have enough staff to cover the volume that you expect? Now let's talk about average handle time. This is very important to understand and plan for. A small 15-second increase in average handle time for calls that take 3 minutes could mean you need 8% more staffing. And that's huge. So here are some areas to think about when it comes to AHT. What's the experience level of your staff? If they are tenured and experienced agents, their AHT will typically be steady and predictable. But if you have onboarded new staff, say for a product launch or a holiday rush season, and they make up a considerable percentage of your overall agent population, then their higher AHT will have an impact on your staffing plans. Have you added new systems or changed systems or had problems with slow systems? These issues will increase your AHT. I've personally worked with some great IT people who have made major changes that improved system response time, and that reduced our AHT. That was great, but still these changes needed to be planned out. Have the project management teams or the process experts engineered something new for your agents to do? New processes and new procedures can impact AHT. Determine if anything new is being introduced in the coming weeks or months ahead. And finally, here's one last thing that people don't want to acknowledge, but it absolutely happens and you need to plan for it. If your call center is understaffed relative to the volume you are receiving, then your agents are going to be on back-to-back calls. This will increase your AHT as the agents will typically use more after call work time to give themselves a small break between the never-ending calls. If that's happening in your call center, then plan for higher AHT and maybe higher attrition. Next, we'll move over to facilities and technology. It can be all well and good to have the volume planned out, staffing scheduled correctly, a good understanding of your AHT, and a good knowledge of your attrition. But if you simply don't have the facilities available or the technology is not working, then you will face additional challenges. So let's go over a few key but not obvious things to think about when you are doing your workforce plan. I'll start at the bottom and work clockwise. Do you have enough phone lines in your call center to support the peak call volume you expect? Do you have sufficient systems and application licenses so that every one of your agents can access every required system and application at peak seating times? Is there sufficient internet and data bandwidth to run all the applications and get all the data quickly so your agents can do their jobs effectively and efficiently? Do you have enough desktop systems? Are they all in working order? Do the monitors work? Do the keyboards work? Do the mice work? Are you sure the hours of operation have been properly planned? Have you thought about hours of operation on a public holiday or on weekends? Is there enough seating for all the planned staffing? Look at peak demand by time of day and day of week to ensure that every agent has a place to sit and do their work. If not, consider using home-based agents to give yourself additional flexibility. And finally, our last important section, and that is intraday management. This is where all your hard work can go down the drain if you don't have good intraday management within your contact center. Intraday management is like an early warning system, air traffic controller, and orchestra conductor all combined in one role. If the position is worked effectively, it can give you a heads up into situations that are going to impact your plans. And with these early warnings, you can take action to ensure service to your customers is maintained. Here are some key points. Check your daily volume against your plan. Do this on an hourly basis. If your day starts with higher than expected volume, then you can make adjustments by calling agents in earlier or canceling other planned off-phone activities. If you plan for 10% absenteeism, but your day is trending at 15%, then you know you have to take some action to get additional hours from the people that are scheduled for that day. That means asking for overtime or calling people to come in early, or even, forbid, asking team leaders and the quality team to sign in and help. I'm half joking, but when you do ask them, don't expect too many smiles. Check schedule compliance. Team managers should ensure that their agents work their defined schedule each and every day. Nothing worse than having all these planned breaks and lunches to ensure that your call volume is handled effectively, only to find out that the agents decided to go on break when they wanted to. Double check to ensure that you've got all the team meetings, company town halls, training events, and any other activities that require agents to be away from their desk planned into your day. If your volume is higher than expected, then your intraday person should be advising the teams that all planned training may have to be postponed to ensure that customer service levels are maintained. And finally, frequent communication is key to intraday management. By communicating how the day is progressing, be it higher AHT, lower than expected absenteeism, unexpected system issues, etc., the management team will better understand and appreciate the reasons why certain changes are being made to the day's plans. And that brings us to the end of our video. I hope this has been helpful to you. Remember, what's cool about this map is that you can use it as a daily checklist to ensure that you have thought about all of the different things that need to be considered in your WFM plans. And best of all, I'll give you a PDF of this map and checklist so you don't have to write it all down or recreate it. And it's pretty easy to add additional boxes or extra items for the unique situations that you face in your center. Thanks for hanging in and watching this until the end. If you want a copy of the planning map or checklist or text of this video or the Simple Mind application file I created the map in, please write me at clive@careforcustomers.com and I will send it to you via email.